I mean, I have a story that's like not like I have a story that like is probably the story I've told the most.
Okay.
But it's not like I mean, it is funny in retrospect, but it's not like well, I'll just tell the story.
Just tell the fucking story.
So one of the first times I ever had to cut a guy off was and I was like probably 19, like maybe 20, but I was probably 19, and like I'm 5'1", like I'm a little girl, and my bartender, who's actually the guy who cut him off, is like 68-year-old Albert, who's like a big dude, but he's like not thinking. And why should we? Why should we be like thinking about our personal space when we are doing our job? But so it was a birthday party. And it was this little guy. He was like probably like, I don't know, like 2 inches taller than me. And I go over and it's at his buddy's birthday, so I'm being like as sweet as I can, and I'm like kind of like trepidatious about even cutting him off because it sucks to cut people off. And I'm like, you know, you don't have to leave. You don't have to leave. You can stay and like hang out at your friend's party, but you just like we can't serve you anymore.
Yeah.
And the guy like whips his cock out, and he's like, "Suck my fucking dick, you cunt." and then at that point, like security like kind of rushes over, and he like runs out, and he stayed for the rest of the shift at the coffee shop across the street. I don't know if he was fucking waiting for me or what. I wasn't threatened.
Yeah.
But what I felt was like, I should probably call the cops, because if this guy has, you know, the wherewithal to think that it's okay to do that, I wanted something on his record that if he happens to go out and fucking do something worse, that there's some like indecent exposure or something, some kind of, you know, mark on his whatever. So I call them, and they're like, well, dude, like, it was a woman too. And she just seemed totally uninterested. It was like, well, do you know his name? I was like, no, you don't have his phone number, you don't know his name. Like, there's not really anything much we can do. We'll open a file. If he comes back, you can call us. But she was like, but you don't feel threatened? I was like, well, no, not really.
Yeah.
But, so, my girlfriend worked with me at the Gladstone at the time. So I go home, and she'd work the early shift. So I go home and I'm telling her the story, and she's like, oh, was it that crew, the birthday crew that came in? And I'm like, yeah. She's like, and it was a shorter dude. I'm like, yeah. She's like, guess what? He tried to pick me up. I have his name and number.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, and his phone number was actually Go Bush.
No.
Yeah. It's like 416 something like Go Bush. Yeah. But anyway, so that's my story. And I ran into him years after at an after hours when the Vatican was open.
Oh my God.
And he was like there, and he was this like really friendly, jovial like dude. He was actually a fire breather. So they had this like show going on. He was like lit like whatever, and he's doing all this cool shit. So everybody's like watching him like, this is awesome. But there was like something about the guy's face I didn't like. Right? Like subconsciously. Yeah, it was like there was something where I'm like, like there's something weaselly about this dude, but I couldn't pinpoint it. And so he comes up to the bar, and of course I buy him a shot because the man was just breathing fire. So we're like talking, but even as we're having this conversation, of course this is years later, there's like just something that's just not settling right. And then it hit me, and I was like, you fucking pulled your cock out at me.
I've seen your fucking dick.
I've seen your
dick. Go Bush.
And it was the biggest dick I've ever seen. And I've only seen, to be fair, about 4 or 5. And one of them is my dog's, and it's like the smallest dick I've ever seen. by my very finite penis wisdom, it was the biggest.
You have